It's a very beautiful day today, and today is our Gist Day, a day where we give nothing but thorough and real talk on happenings, events in our society. A day where we have secured for open calls and contributions from our viewers all over the nation to lend their voices on public occurrences. On this note, I say welcome to your beautiful, wonderful Launcher TV show. My name remains Damilola Banere, and this is Real Talk with Kike. Unfortunately, I'm going to be sitting in for my beautiful, ever-radiant chief host, Kike Atanda-Owo, the Yeye Forowero of Nigeria. Yes, I said so. Welcome, beautiful Auntie Efo, to another wonderful day. It's me and you meeting again. We met last week.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
Sure
Ever Ravishi.
Yes.
You know the age. Why? Share this secret.
Hello, Damilola. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Hello, viewer. Welcome to our lunch package. Today is our Gist Day, like Damilola rightly said. So I'm sure there will be some education here for us all as Nigerians. So join us, make your calls, join in the conversation, and let's pull through with all of this gist and get a better society. My name is EFO Dot. Thank you.
So as we're opening the curtains of today's show, before we go too far, let's have our viewer with our On This Day in History segment. On this day, a natural disaster happened in Benue State and it affected the Catholic Church. Let's get more gist on this. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
On this day, 7th April. On this day in 2012, exactly 10 years ago, St. Robert Catholic Church at Dangbe in Vandekir local government area of Benue State caved in, leaving no fewer than 22 persons dead, with 35 others in critical condition. Amongst the dead were 16 women and 6 children, who were among the throng of worshippers at the church to usher in the Easter festivities. However, the Benue State government had offered the sum of 1 million naira to the entire Adangbe community, including members of the collapsed church, just as it promised to assist in burial of those that lost their lives and also to settle hospital bills of the injured.
Welcome back. I'm sure that we must have been able to draw one or two things. And of course, some of us knew when that incident happened 10 years ago, 10 years, a full decade. And I don't think anything has changed. I don't think it has stopped because even then the Benue government offering 1 million naira to the entire community was quite small. It was cheap compared to and now they even offered to help them to bury. Like my father will always say, if you don't bury people because you love them, you bury them because, the odor will not even let you sleep. So at the end of the day, for Benue State government offering to assist in burial is so ludicrous, it's laughable, because the things that we should have talked in place, that we should have put in place. 10 years from my age, I remember that incident on a Sunday and they took off, and people who just went to church wholeheartedly to serve God came with untimely death. And therefore, what do you have to say about this?
Well, Damilola, my take on this matter is it's a good thing it was recorded. It happened about this time, Easter period.
Yes.
10 years ago. And it was a very unfortunate incident. Leaving home to say, like you rightly said, going to the place of worship and only to hear that you are dead in the place of worship. Any building could have collapsed, we agree. But I think the lesson for me here is, going forward, I think we should pay more attention to our safety measures, and priority should be placed on the quality of our building materials so we don't lose innocent lives. It really was disheartening when it happened. And the government, in the goodness of their heart, chose to give 1 million naira to the entire community. We thank the governor, but I'm sure he could have done better.
Absolutely.
That's it, Damilola.
Well, I think that if we keep saying and talking, 10 years ago, a building caved in.
Yeah.
A few years back in Lagos, numerous buildings have caved in. And like you said, I would also agree with you, quality of building materials, yes, and making sure that we are certain who is in charge of projects. You don't have...
They should have project managers.
You don't have a mechanic and you award a building contract to a mechanic. It will not balance. Welcome back. Today, we are focusing on major headlines and matters that borders around national concerns for me and you. We call it the Gist Day. We have a number of gist piled up for you, our viewers. You can also share your stories or perspectives about numerous gists that we are going to be outlining for our own knowledge. The first on our lineup is the story of the train attack on the bandits' release of the BOA MD as another victim dies. The video of Alwan Hassan, acting MD CEO of Bank of Agriculture, BOA, shortly before his release by the abductors goes viral. Let's take a look at the video. Yes. I'm sure you saw that news, and it was quite devastating. And seeing the MD CEO of Bank of Agriculture speaks in the video, says, I was allowed to go because of my age, but I have left several abductees behind. The federal government needs to look for leaders of this group to negotiate the release of other captives. Their situation is bad and they are in dire need of assistance. This was what he was allowed to say when they gave him the privilege to speak before shortly releasing him. I don't know. Let me start with your opinion before I drive through mine. What do you really think is happening? Do we think that is staged? It looks more concocted, like, oh, I don't know what to make of the whole thing, because they have several other people still in captive. Why did they choose to release somebody? Was there a ransom paid? Which is not likely that he must have gone just free of charge in Nigeria. What do you think?
Damilola, MD CEO, Bank of Agriculture. What do you expect? That's the big one for them. Because if you listen to what happened at the train attack, they went for the VIP coach. That was what they went for before they started shooting sporadically. You know, so that's a big one for them. But whether ransom was paid or not, we never get to hear those things. The important thing is, he's happy to be alive, happy to be released. And if these terrorists, like I will tap them, they're not bandits. They're beyond being bandits. If they are saying they're releasing him because of his age and because of Ramadan, why don't they release all others because of the same Ramadan? Ramadan's just started. I think it's day number 6 or 7 today.
6 today.
Okay. So why don't they, in the same vein? Sometimes I think we're living in two separate countries. I don't understand it. Because things like this are going on. Those at the helm of affairs, they see what is going on. They're seeing these viral videos by themselves. And I begin to ask myself, you know, questions that have no answers. How do they feel? The president came to you during his inaugural speech. He vowed he was going to secure the lives of Nigerians. But we haven't seen that thus far. And this is really getting out of hands. Really? You can even see the terrorists saying that, you know, if they do not attend to their request or whatever, that they would turn the area to an abattoir.
That killing means nothing to them.
That's the honest truth. It means nothing to them. So do we have a president in place and his entire team who will just sit back and watch people killed like this? And another thing you said, if it was staged, what for? Some people died. To what end? Look at the young doctor who died, Chinelo.
Yeah,
do you understand? I think she's Chinelo.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Chinelo. You know, what about the others that died? We hear 8 died. What if more died than 8 were reported?
And we are even hearing news that the federal government cannot still give us an appropriate number of people that have been
there
held.
was no proper passenger manifest.
That's another deficit.
Big deficit. Somebody who has been on that route before has said during an interview I was listening to over the weekend, the discourse, he was saying that there are too many bottlenecks on that route. Nothing is done appropriately. Nothing. So, where do we go from here, Damilola? Help me out.
I also think that people have kept mentioning the northern governors and politicians have a hand in terrorism in this country. Is this not an evidence to it? Because why haven't they released a nobody, like you said? If they think because it is Ramadan period and of course, like the Muslims will not naturally joke with the month of
Yes.
Ramadan. And it feels like every other 11 months, things can go on. But during this period,
In the spirit of Ramadan.
in the spirit of Ramadan, why not let everybody go? Because it feels like then, why the North? Just the North, just the North. Is there a purposeful agenda to, maybe I would say, to level the North? People live there, people who go about their... I would say that...
Don't narrow it to the North. Insecurity is everywhere.
Yes, insecurity is everywhere. Insecurity is everywhere.
Yes.
But there are levels to this insecurity.
I
Because
agree.
in Lagos, I don't think anybody will wake up and think that a bomb blast will just happen like that in Lagos. But up there in the North, there's no how do I put it now? There's no certainty. They do not live with certainty, because one minute you might be joyous and the next minute you're hearing different bombs explode. I would say that my sister in my house was a victim of just 10 bomb blasts. I think December 10, just bomb blasts at the viewing center. And it was really bad because she spent about 60 days in the hospital. The next person who sat to her lost his head. And even that one almost pushed her into coma. Like, I saw this person a few minutes ago, and just about now, is headless.
Yeah.
So now, okay, let's take a view at the video where the MD of BOA was being released.
Mu da ne jama'an da muka kama wayannan mutanen nan a jirgin ƙasa in baya ga sanan da kun gansu wannan da cikin iko Allah da neman alfarma da yayi ta yi da yanayin ganin tsofarsa da yayi shine muka tausaya masa yanzu da yanayin wata na Ramadan muka fitar da shi zamu mika wa ƴan uwarsa amma wannan gwamnati kusan abin da kuke kai wannan ba komai bane mun dai tausaya masa ne mun mika masa gashi nan dai in yana da wani ƙarin bayanin da zai muku sai ya muku kuji daga bakinsa wannan dai shine insha Allah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ina so na shaida muku cewa an tausaya min saboda girma na da tsohuwana da nake da shi aka ce in fita. Amma ina so shaida muku cewa na ba al'umma a baya da dama kuma suna cikin yanayin da suna buƙatar taimako da ɗaukaka na a fito da su da wuri. Ina fata gwamnati za ta samu shugabannin wannan ƙungiya ta magana da su da a samu fito da su da wuri.
Wow, like the translation we got of what he said is the reason that they are releasing him because of his age, and even the abductors, according to their language, said he had been pleading right from the onset when he was being abducted. But now I have a problem with having to even film. It was easy for Nigeria to clamp down Twitter in less than an hour. So why has it not been easy for them to trace the IP address or to trace, I don't know, there are ways that the Nigerian police, different security outfits can actually clamp down. So really, if we're hearing a lot of agitations about northern governors know about what's happening, it tells me on one side that there could be an atom of truth in it, because why are you not taking specific measures? We have, like they claim, we have security apparatus in place. If let me say, if a Yahoo boy, let me use that example, if a Yahoo boy does something illegal now, EFCC is quick to go there. If you hear about drugs, NDLEA is quick to go there. There are people blowing whistles concurrently about these other sectors, drugs and all of that. Why are we not finding any headway to insecurity? Because if we are looking at this train attack, shows us that the terrorists are always steps ahead of our security outfits. I mean, steps ahead. They even call me in our own security. You mean man, bandit and terrorists are wearing army uniform.
They have even boasted that attack on the train is showing what they are capable of doing, that they can even do a lot more. Damilola, we're in dire straits in this country. Because
they knew they would abduct influential people on the train rather than just the ordinary masses in exchange for big ransoms. Now they had the likes of the MD of BOA. So, of course, money must have exchanged hands. How do they spend this money? I know in the police force, there's something that is called marked money. If you want to trace a criminal, they pay you marked money. Nigerians know all these things, even for us to know about it. But it feels like they just sit down like, don't worry, let them wail. After wailing, they will keep quiet. They will come back to the table. How do we move on?
We are in dire straits. Trust me. What is the DSS doing? What's wrong with our intelligence? The Governor El-Rufai came out crying the other day, you know, saying that the DSS, they always send him intelligence reports, which eventually come to be. So how come you have a hold of this intelligence and you do nothing about it before it happens?
Well, the terrorists clearly say the moves and security actions of the government and our soldiers. Can these terrorists be beaten to their game? Can it actually happen? Because I think if you fed a child for too long, at the end of the day, you want to withdraw the food from the child's mouth. He's not going to take it lightly with you. It's like you're fighting something and that thing now comes back to fight you in the face. You have to be probably double, triple, quadruple smarter than who before you can say you can accomplish to encapsulate and to get the matter in check. Because we keep talking and talking and talking, and it feels like our government just knows that, well, out of 200 million, maybe by the time 50 million goes, we'll still have 150 million, because it's tiring, it's draining. Then you say Nigerians should not leave Nigeria. Wow. Okay, we're going to have to open our phone lines at this point so that you can join us. We know that a lot of our viewers have been trying to reach us as well. And the numbers are showing on your screen. It's 080-899. Yes, you can find the number of your screen at this time. So you can join in the conversation and let us know your opinions or another story that you feel that Nigeria has not gotten aware of. We can share it on this platform. Our second trending story today will be that of the food crisis. And it says hungry persons may reach 38 million by June in West Africa. Food crisis. 38 million by June. I mean, before we consider the whole of West Africa, Nigerian population in poverty and undernourished have been increasing by the day. Now, should we say this statistics is even correct? Because if we narrow it down to Nigeria, let's leave West Africa. If we narrow it down to Nigeria alone, we see what hunger speaks on the streets every day. And this has even pushed some people into different vices like stealing, picking pockets, even so-called kidnapping. Because some people, when the police interrogates them, it boils down to hunger. And therefore, how do we live in penury when we have abundance? Somebody said the other day, they said, there's no money in Nigeria. I said, don't see it. Don't see there's no money in Nigeria. It's because we have mismanagement problem and there is no accountability. So what do you think about the food crisis?
That figure, I think, is slightly underestimated. Nigerians are impoverished. You and I know that. We come from the streets. We see the hunger and the anger in the faces of people. But it's unfortunate that we have a government who lives in denial.
That's another path.
Yes. We live in two separate countries.
The country for the politician and the country for the masses.
They live in denial. You had the Minister of Information say that the insurgency has been tackled already. And sometimes when he speaks, I'm like, is it in the same country that we live in? With the news we get every day that is probably underreported. Do you understand? Nigerians are hungry. Okay,
and therefore I'd like to hold your submission there. We have a caller, Mike from Benin. Good afternoon, Mike. Hello, good afternoon, Mike. Please turn down the volume of your TV.
Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set? Take out the volume.
Yes.
Kindly let us know how you want to join the conversation and which story you want to talk about.
The issue of Kaduna crisis.
The train blast.
I don't think federal government don't know what they are doing, because it is going to be very difficult for you to pay a ransom in a given country that has a government, and at the end of the day, that money cannot be traced. Nobody is accountable for the BVN of the account where that money is paid to. So it's very disheartening. When I heard Lai Mohammed was talking that day on CSTV, I was shocked that he can be telling us that we cannot trace such whatever thing. It's annoying. It's annoying. Please.
Thank you so much, Mike. Okay, I'm listening to you.
I think it's gone off.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think, like you were saying, you were rightly saying that even if we separate the news from the streets, we have family members. We go to the market. We hear market women wail every day.
Even the buyers. Do you understand? You buy something. When last did you buy cooking gas?
Few days back.
How much did you buy it?
12 kg now is about 8,500.
8,500, very good. Some are buying for 9,000 in the same Nigeria.
Then there's no price control. That's another major issue.
When last, how are you going to get the price control? When last did you buy a tuber of yam?
Like some few weeks back.
This is what we're talking about. How many families? There's some families that haven't eaten yam in months and months and months. One tuber of yam cannot take a family for. We're talking about the rising cost of food items.
And the federal government keeps pumping money into agriculture. So who is spending this money?
Didn't we celebrate the rice pyramids in Abuja
A few
months ago?
Yeah.
Who and who bought the rice? Where did the rice go to?
Wow, a lot of questions are just begging for answers. Because by the time you go to the market today, something you bought for 350 is 400, and it's
what
like
is 400?
If you're not buying, leave it.
Who told you that? What is 400? You know, some time ago I bought a pack of what's it called, Colgate toothpaste. You know, he told me it was 4,000. By the time I went back the following week, it was 5,000. So you are doing a difference of 50 naira. No. It's way, way more than that. And because of that, you are telling us that we're not going to, we'll definitely have a food crisis. Where's the food coming from? From the sector. We talk about the north, where farmers cannot go to the farms anymore. Mm-hmm. They can't for fear of being killed. You know how many rice farmers were killed in Borno State the other day? So what are we talking about? How do we sit and watch? How do we have a government who will just sit and watch Nigerians just suffer? I look at them in the hallowed chamber and I'm like, do they have a conscience? How do they feel? They're all looking robust. They laugh in our faces and they do all that they need to do. They pass bills that are not necessarily affecting the people. Do you understand? I think about it. I said, these are Nigerians like us. When they need our votes, they know how to sleep in your bed, eat corn with you by the roadside and all that.
Go to the buka joint, eat amala with you.
What are we talking about?
So well, I think that because Nigerians have not learned, we keep trusting them beyond their elective offices. And this is why I say this. Like you said, if they are coming into election period,
yes,
few months into election, they are our friends. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, you hear, you cannot go and look for that councillor or the commissioner. You say the security is telling you, or guys in a meeting. But we trust them like they are the same blood that runs in our veins, because we don't give them that distance of our people will say you have to put a distance of quarrel. That okay, what if myself and this person have a fallout? But we trust them hook, line, and sinker that when they bring the manifesto, it's so nice, we'll check. Because I think in 2022 we should have gone past, we'll build roads, we'll build hospitals, we'll build basic infrastructures, and negligence even from the medical aspect is killing us daily. Now there is no food. If you suffer a crisis because there is no food, where is the hospital you are taking the patients to? There is still no hospital.
Of poverty, they must be stinking to high heavens, excuse my French. So it's buying cars for, why do we take care of district heads, kings and whatever? What about their subjects? If you don't have the subjects, who will the district heads rule over? Do you get my point?
I think for me it's totally unnecessary, and it just shows us that why are cars being shared towards campaign and election period.
Politicking, I told you.
Like you said, politicking. But I think in the best interest of the people, it would have made more sense if the emirs and the district head just said, you know what, we cannot accept this offer and do better for our people. Because at the end of the day, when everybody is being killed, excuse my language, when everybody is being maimed in such a place, who are the district heads going to drive their cars to?
Yeah.
Where are they going to take these cars? When we were talking about it behind the scene, you were mentioning that where do they even want to drive the cars to? Where are the roads? Because if I'm going to value, let's say an overhead estimate, that each car is valued at 10 million naira, he bought 260. That's 260 million naira from where? State money?
I don't know.
That should have been allocated to something more lucrative for the citizens to have a better life, that should have been allocated to insecurity, that should have been used in taking care of hospitals, welfare, infrastructure, then how do the religious leaders, please, how do they sit comfortably in these cars? Okay, we have a phone call. Okay, Joseph is calling us from Cross River State. Hello, Joseph.
Hello, Joseph.
Yeah, I'm calling from Calabar.
Welcome to our program.
I'm watching your program. I'm calling from Calabar. I want to make my contributions.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, my name is Joseph from Calabar.
Okay.
You're welcome, Joseph.
And I want to contribute to that security problem there. I want to ask some question so I can tell the world.
Okay.
I said I want to contribute to that security.
Go ahead, please go ahead.
Security problem, the kidnapping of people in the
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I want to ask you, ask your faith come in the question. Do we have up to 5,000 or let me say 5,000 soldiers and 5,000 police in Nigeria? If we have these positions they are struggling about, if you send 100 soldiers, 100 police to all the locations in the north, by inside this in Google, unless they are using it to trade, unless it's a system they are using for politics, let us be sincere that we are spending money in bandits, people are paying 100 million, and there is no crime committed in this country that the legislators don't know, or the commercial police. Why they do? Everybody telling you that the people are very straight to you. They know them. Why not have chased them to the place they are? We talk about security. Every time give 40 billion, 30 billion. The people are not up to 5,000 people fighting in the old Nigeria police, and nobody has come to them. We should not be pretending over issue. Buhari, who is a general, he didn't say without social followers. He should fight this. He told us. I voted for him because he said he was ready to stop his against. We are not happy. Nobody is happy in this country. Children are not in the school. Everything is spoiled in this country. What is all this about? When people are agitating for trouble, you know what they do? The answer just came in. They want to criticize those ones. They were running for their head.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you very much, Joseph. If we'll just push back on that, what Joseph said, like he's making a point that they are not even up to 10,000 security men. I mean, how would the force even be attractive when they are underpaid? It can't be attractive. So instead of us having more recruits coming to the force, a lot of people are even withdrawing. I saw a letter from a supposed police officer resigning from police job because he stated it that because of underpayments, that they were not being paid and they are risking their lives day and night. So people think that why am I even fighting for Nigeria? So if we were supposed to have really, like you said, if we were supposed to have 1,000 men in a place and we have just less than 200, I mean, and you have 200 fighting against 10,000, we already know what will happen. So back on the discussion of the vehicles.
Yes.
Now, these vehicles were distributed to the monarchs at the government house by the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Said Abubakar III. And why would the Sultan of Sokoto be involved in such distribution, knowing fully well that there is chaos and there are so many victims of circumstances that, I mean, Nigeria has happened to? It's high time that the religious leaders started to decline from some things that the politicians want them to dance to. I mean, if you're having all the religious leaders say, you know what, we are not going to accept anything until you fix the problems of our people, because I believe they are the closest to the people. The religious leaders, the traditional leaders. On Sundays, at least, let's say maybe if we take Lagos for example, 1/3 or 1/5 of the whole Lagos attends a church, one church or the other. Same wise with the mosque. So religious leaders and traditional leaders should take a stand if they are for the people or against the people. And I am pained by the actions of some of our traditional leaders and monarchs, because they are the real problem of our politics. It is totally disappointing that these leaders won't reject offers of new Cadillac SUVs and requests for good governance, good roads, hospitals, power supplies, etc. Yet the same traditional rulers and traditional leaders will expect the poor masses under them not to collect a sachet of garri and rice that will be shared during election. How do you balance this equation?
We cannot balance the equation because our quest for materialism in Nigeria,
I think, has sparked up too high.
I don't even know what level, if he hasn't gone beyond the skies. the traditional rulers and the clerics, and they're never full. They want more and more and more. If you, for instance, have 20 cars, you can only ride in one at a time.
Obviously.
So, acquiring all of these material things, of what benefit is it to the people?
Okay, let's take another conversation. Uche from Oyo State. Uche from Oyo State, good afternoon. Please make your point straight and precise.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to just to chip in the security issue.
Okay.
So this country we are, because these bandits and the Boko Haram, the government know about it, because if government didn't know about it, banditry and Boko Haram will be wiped away under 24 hours. But because they are aware, they are making money with it, you know, so they handle it, you know, because on their own side, it doesn't concern them because they are benefiting from it. It's a business to them. And they forget that they are hurting us, they are killing Nigerians, their brothers, their sisters are involved, but they don't care. So that is the issue. It's not about...
Thank you, Uche. Of course, if we're going to draw an opinion poll, we know where the people are, and we know where the government is. So, moving on the matter we were discussing, and we know the monarchs are entitled to some sort of welfare and allowances, but are they entitled to luxury cars and SUVs at the expense of state treasury? Because like I asked, where is that money coming from? The governor cannot just be happy and tell you that, oh, you know what, out of my largesse, out of the abundance that I have personally, I want to do this for you. It must be coming from somewhere, because there's going to be a level of padding, a level of misappropriation, corruption that would have been attached to it. Because it's not today we've heard that, oh, if you want to patronize government, something of 4 naira, they will tell you to put it at 10 naira because somebody's going to take the 6 naira, and it's really not your business. But I hope that we can really do well for ourselves and take priority of what we want, lives and properties. People are working day and night. Now on this one, we have the federal government.
I'll take you back before you get there.
Okay.
What is the same Zamfara governor? What is he doing for the IDPs?
That's another side.
What's he doing for the IDPs?
Nothing that the person recorded.
Why are you centering your attention on those who are already well fed? What do they need more cars for? Are the cars going to do the job? Are the cars going to take care of insecurity in Zamfara State? Well, too many questions.
Too many questions, yet no appropriate answer. On this one, we have the federal government approves establishment of 12 private universities. The proposed private universities are Penn Resource University, Gombe State, Al-Ansar University, Maiduguri, Borno State, Margaret Lawrence University, Delta State, and Khalifa Ishaku Rabiu University, Kano State. The Sports University, Idumu J. Ugoko, Delta State, Bala Ahmed University, Kano, Siasia University of Medical Sciences and Technology, Sokoto State, Nigerian British University, Hausa, Abia State, and Peter University, Asina Onene in Anambra State as well as Newgate University, Mina, Niger State, European University of Nigeria in Duboyi, Abuja, and the Northwest University, Sokoto State. Now, approval of 12 universities. The Margaret Lawrence University, Delta State, is the only university amongst them that is not located in the north. What are they trying to achieve with an imbalanced approval for private universities?
Do you know the question on my mind? Is that why they want to kill the federal universities that have existed and trained a good number of them who are in office today? Why do we need private universities? Oh, yes, the argument might come up to say that we have too many applicants. The private universities alone and the state universities cannot accommodate them. One argument on the one hand. ASU is on strike. ASU has been on strike. They're still on strike. SANU has joined. NASU has joined. What is the government doing about it? It's always a back and forth. No, they are not telling the truth. No, we have paid them what they should. We are tired of the stories. Our children are at home. Young minds who their parents cannot afford these private universities. They're at home, seated at home, doing nothing. They're trying to engage themselves. The police won't let them be on the roads. How come we're not paying attention to education? These same people benefited from education, free education at that time in this same country. What are we approving more universities for private universities owned by what people?
Well, I think the existing universities have not been catered for, just like you said. ASU is on strike. There are arrears being owed to lecturers. The university infrastructures are all dilapidated and they need renovation. The amenities and provisions for students on campuses are not adequate. Why is the federal government not tackling fundamental problems and insisting on wanting to open 12 more universities? To do
Whatever for. Why don't we dwell on the ones that we have
that have pedigree, that have produced notable people? We can begin to count how many. Most of them had their first degrees here in Nigeria before traveling to have the second, third, and what have you. And like you said,
a good number of them benefited from the free education.
But every other time you go on,
making life unbearable for other Nigerians.
Every other time you go on social media, you go on the internet, you are finding different students calling from different universities to say this is the states of this is the state of our hostel and all of that. Okay, we have Ifeanyi from River State. Good afternoon, Ifeanyi. Go ahead and speak and let us know the topic you want to contribute on. Good afternoon. Please speak up.
Good afternoon, Ifeanyi.
We're here. Please speak up. Which of the conversations are you interested in lending your voice on?
Hello, Ifeanyi.
I think we lost. Yes, exactly. So on that, I think, like you and I said, it's only I like to go back to the Yoruba adage. The Yoruba man will say it's only the talk of a senseless person that is different, because students are not even in school.
They're not in school.
Make it more conducive for them. Every other time, every other semester, they have increments in payment. Some started school with 20,000. Now they are paying 55, 60, 70,000. In this harsh condition, yet more universities agreeably to cater for the number of students, applicants that we have. But if you put the right place, there was a year that I knew that UI was not even having to do, they were not taking admissions of that particular year, and they were considering backlog. Universities have backlog. People that have written exams 3, 4, 5 years ago that didn't have space.
Frequent interruptions. You know, the government will not do. What sector is the government really interested in?
Because the education budget for this year, according to Google, says that is the least that we have had in 10 years overall. So on this one, we are going to move from that. If you want to join the conversation, remember that the phone number to call in is still on your screen at the moment. At this one, we have, it's another very laughable story. The reps are considering a 6-month jail term for cross-dressers. A bill to prescribe sanctions to cross-dressing in Nigeria debuted at the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Essentially, the bill, titled "A Bill for an Act to Amend Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act 2023 to prohibit cross-dressing and other related matters." For one person particularly, I would say under the bill, it is proposed that a person engaged in cross-dressing is guilty of an offense and liable to imprisonment for 6 months or to 1 year, and except you pay you pay a fine of 500,000 naira. Now, are we calling for sanity with all of these anti-cross-dressing laws? Is this to put our youth or our people in check? Because if for one, I don't think it is at this time. Well, it's a menace for cross-dressing, looking at a man who is deceiving another fellow man dressing like a woman. I refrain from such. But at this crucial period, we have more pressing bills. Nigeria, where is our Child Rights Act? Like, I was checking on Google some days back, and I saw that out of 36 states, only 23 states have adopted the Child Rights Act. We don't even have the same gender equity bill yet. And we don't have some. And I saw that one of the senators of the Federal Republic also called out her colleagues on saying that we have so many more bills, more intellectual bills to pass than cross-dressing. Yes, it could be a menace in the society at this point because it's growing and the people involved in it are saying it like a means to a trade, a means to an end. Like if a woman can get it done easily, why can't I just jump in braziers and jump in makeup and look like a woman and also get it done? I think that's part of the deficit of lack of development in our country. And therefore, what do you think?
In the first place, cross-dressing is relative. Going by our culture, you have those from the Niger Delta, the men tie wrappers. Yeah. It's cultural. So would you call that cross-dressing? The person who sponsored the bill from Bauchi State is cross-dressing the problem in Bauchi State. I think they're just saying that time is running out. So it would appear that at least before I go back to my people, my constituency, it would have been seen that I sponsored at least one bill.
Over 4 years.
Do you understand?
Some of them sit there in the National Assembly and in House of Representatives and they don't say nothing.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So in Bauchi State, it's cross-dressing the problem in Bauchi State. That you are bringing cross-dressing to the fore at this time in our history with all the issues Nigerians are bedeviled with. It's cross-dressing. They're going to jail for 6 months, whoever they have in mind, because they need to be explicit on this. They need to be. So you say cross-dressers, they go to jail 6 months or they pay a fine of 500,000. Will this address the power issue? They are not talking about the power issue that Nigerians haven't had. You know, it's not too much to talk about.
Please let me hold your thoughts there. We have Umar from River State. Good afternoon, Umar. Hello, good afternoon, Umar. Hello, Umar. Good afternoon. Please turn down the volume of your TV set and join the conversation.
I've done it now.
Thank you so much. What aspect of the topics are you talking on?
The aspect of the government, on the aspect of the school, the opening of the new university.
Addition of 12 more universities?
Yes, 12 more universities.
Okay, please go on.
Yes. I don't think there's any need for that. Because when looking at the society at large, they're having some challenges, which is one, the issue of food and other things is really affecting the economy. So for the federal government to open the university, I don't think it makes any meaning to the Nigerian society, because the old university on its own needs to be rehabilitated and put in place. So I think that is what the government should be aiming at, putting the other universities in that kind of position instead of talking of opening another new private university in Nigeria.
Thank you,
Thank you very much,
we have your considerations too. Like I'm sure that some other Nigerians will share your sentiments. So going on the on this cross-dressing,
you know,
I'm also looking at it that what are the implications of Western interference using the foreign LGBT laws? I mean, in some Western countries, they are allowed to exhibit freedom of self, freedom of expression. But I think back here home, we consider traditional and cultural, how would I put it, laws over probably even what the Constitution has to say. Like you said, I share your idea, and like some of these cross-dressing, things that we see as cross-dressing, to some people, it's traditional outfit, cultural outfit. And in some states, of course, in Nigeria, you have even the men tie wrapper, use it across their shoulders and all of that. But to what is this supposed to do? Has they been scammed? Has somebody been scammed?
Question is, Damilola, let us find out. The person who sponsored this bill, what did he have at the back of his mind?
Probably he had been scammed.
Do you understand?
He feels like,
if he has been scammed, this is a whole country. Do you understand? We have multifaceted issues in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Nigerians do not have power, no water. We're talking about the basics. We've said this time and again on this platform. No water, no shelter. Are these the things they should be talking about at the hallowed chamber?
And who are even the people patronizing these cross-dressers?
Let us put the, see, maybe the one person, we do not want to mention names, Bobrisky. You talk about the other one, what's he called again?
James Brown.
James Brown. Who are they? Who are they? How do what they do affect us? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It behoves on us parents. Let's raise our children well. Then you don't fall for people like this. Do you understand? We have more pressing issues we should be hearing about from the hallowed chamber. Not about bleaching, not about cross-dressing. How does that affect the price of bread on the streets?
I remember that bleaching story.
Oh, please.
It's such a laughable one. Okay, with this, we have come to the end of another edition of Real Talk with Kike. And like you know, a lot of questions begs for answers. Yet, who is going to prefer a solution? A lasting solution? Because sometimes when I look at Nigeria as a whole, I say, Nigeria happens to Nigerians. Is it because we are Nigerians? Because when we leave the shores of this country, a lot of us function way better. And looking at even this cross-dressing, the last story, a few days back, I was seeing the same guy, James Brown. He's enrolled in a school in the UK and he's taking a course. I think towards whatever made him start to cross-dress, his personal business. But I think towards that end, he's also trying to get some knowledge.
Trying to develop himself.
Trying to develop himself. He left Nigeria to go to the UK to develop himself. The people who are here who want to really develop themselves, are we giving them an enablement?
He can't go to university here. ASU is always on strike because the government will not do what they're supposed to do.
And they want us, the citizens, to do what we should do.
Can we just have a government who will sit? These are human beings like us. They have a conscience.
Are you sure?
Let's fix this country. Yes, God gave everyone a conscience.
Are you sure we use it equally?
Well, whether they want to use it equally or not, they are accountable to God.
Some people are cold.
They are accountable to God. But they won't be cold when they want your vote.
Some people are really
They'll come
cold.
for you.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, too many questions, and if we cannot keep, sometimes I don't even like going on lamentations. It feels like after lamentation, okay, let's read Ezekiel and let's move on. It's been an amazing just day with you, my beautiful co-host, AJ Graceful. I saw you this morning and I was like, wow, if somebody can be blessed with at least some manageable good health. Just manageable good health. We're not talking of the extreme.
You started again.
And to you, my chief host, I miss you. I miss your beautiful face today.
Yes,
I was really looking forward to a hug, a tight hug from my sister. Yeah. I said we miss you. Don't you miss her?
Of course we do.
My name remains Damlola Vanere. See you next time on
And I am Ethel.
So we'll see you next time on this wonderful show where we get to air our opinions and talk about what pertains you and I.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.